Hello. Decided to do a live today. Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm about to do a podcast with Carly and Stacy. It's called the North Texas Networkers Podcast. So, wanted to go live so you could all hear it, check it out, see Carly and Stacy. Let me take somebody in real quick. Whoever wants to come in and say hello or chat. Thank you, weeba. Oh, I miss you guys. They party planned Sabrina's last birthday, her 10th birthday, and it was awesome. Really great. Hey, Brad. Really great party planning people. How are you? I'm good. I'm doing really good. Planning lots of things for the future. So excited about it. What's the topic? Good question. I have no idea what's the topic today. I just roll with the flow. I have been working on my men's book all day today. I think it's going to be really good. I'm working on setting up a pre-order landing page for you guys out there that are interested in my men's book. And if anyone wants to join my 10X Ladies free Zoom networking call tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, go to 10xladies.com/network and make sure you register and join that group. It's awesome. We figure out how to navigate these challenging times together, and it's been a really powerful group of women that are forging forward, determined to be better on the other side of this. Okay, let's see. Somebody has made a request. Let's see. How about Tiffany? Let's see if book release date. I don't have a book release date. Oh, she did. She came in. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi.
How
How
are
are
you?
you?
Good. Where
That was
are you?
quick. I am in Port St. Lucie, Florida, and I have always wanted to talk to you, so I'm so happy to see you. I do have a question for you, though.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of different talents. I've been going live every week. With your snacks is what I call it. Scripture snacks is like taking pieces of the Bible and trying to explain it to people and help them to understand what it is. My thing, I help moms kick chaos to the curb with super simple strategies to help you get it together. So my question to you would be, I think I need more lighting, right? My
No,
question
you're
to
good.
you, my
That's good.
question to you would be, what do you think? What is the best thing to do to be able to get your product out there and to be able to um, use all your talents to be successful and to be able to create an income for your family? That's what I wanted to know.
Well, do you have a list of all of your strengths and your talents, or do you just kind of keep them up in your head?
No, I do have a list of all of them.
Okay, that's good. Well, then I would look at each single one and see like, well, how could you utilize that? Where can you go? Use a little creative and imagination on like what's needed right now. Like what problem can you solve for people? Chances are if you're having to figure out something and you needed to come up with your own solution, other people are also looking for that solution. So, but the best way to get your product known is use all of your social mediums. I mean, they're free. Like get known on all of them. It doesn't matter whether you like Snapchat or TikTok or whatever, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Just start using all of them and getting in the habit of posting regularly on all avenues so you can ping on each source. And then the other thing that I do is I also make a vision board kind of who I am
Okay.
and what I can talk about, and then so every single piece of content that you're putting out might not necessarily be about your product, but at least you're being branded, or like let's say you're a pet lover and you have a pet. There's a certain group of people out there, they're going to find you through that avenue. If you're a wife, there's another group of people who, or a mother, another group of people who are going to find you there, or a businesswoman. So bang on all cylinders that you can operate with, so people get familiar with seeing you and trusting your face and knowing who you are, and jumping on other like-minded individuals' podcasts, and continue to build out your podcast or your lives. And
I do have a podcast.
what is it?
I called it It's the Special Needs Success Podcast.
Nice.
Yes, I did start one of those too.
Well,
I've been following your husband for about a year now, and just watching you guys. I started over on YouTube. I started the Tiffany C Show, and I actually got that idea based on what you guys were doing. So I created the video and everything because I had watched your videos, and I created a video, not exactly the way yours is, but I used some of the different things that you guys put in your video, like all the things that I do, and I created the video, which is like an introductory.
That is awesome. I love success. I love people that, you know, are smart, can adapt, and actually do what it takes to get yourself known. Thank you so much for dropping in today.
Thank you. You caught me off guard, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm so excited you hit accept. All right,
we'll
see you. Hopefully you can join my 10X Ladies group.
I'll be there.
Okay,
I'll be there.
I love it. Thank you, Tiffany.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so if you're just joining, of course, my name is Elena Cardone. I'm about to do the North Texas Networkers podcast. So let's see. The hosts are Carly and Stacy. The show is about connecting people across the I guess the Dallas-Fort Worth kind of area as realtors. Carly and Stacy have the opportunity to meet and work with a variety of interesting people. This is their chance to introduce you to them. That's good. I'm always looking to be introduced to new audiences. I'm also trying to expand my brand too. Join them as they have conversations with influential people, share their inspiring stories, and reveal how they've helped shape the lives of others and their communities. Okay, so let's join in. I'm going to hop on this podcast. I really wanted you guys to have the opportunity to listen in. And then after I get off of this, it'll be like a 30-minute podcast. After I get off of this call, I'll invite some of you back in and we can continue our chats. All right, let me see how I'm getting in here. You guys good where you are? How's it going? How's quarantine life? For some of you, have y'all lifted? Has the ban been lifted? Our mayor of Sunny Isles is keeping our beaches closed. Not happy about that. Figuring out, okay, let's see. Maybe I'm in now. They're here. Can you ladies hear me?
Hey, Elena, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. You count the...
Uh-oh. You need a count of one? You need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Bad reception. Learning new. Still under lockdown, us too. So good to see you guys here.
So it sounds like the audio was cutting just in and out, just a tad. Are you able to get close? Are you on a laptop or a computer?
I'm on a laptop.
A laptop, okay.
Yeah, I hear the audio is not good here either. It's like an echo.
Is there a big echo on your end, like coming through to your side?
Only when I talk.
When you talk, there's an echo.
Okay. The name of the podcast is North Texas Networkers with Carly and Stacy.
Okay, one more time. Can you repeat what you said for me? I'm sorry, the audio cut out.
Yeah, I'm here. I was telling my Instagram live that I'm going to be going on the North Texas Networkers podcast with Carly and Stacy. I wonder if I should go quiet here. Let me try that. Somebody said that.
Elena, are you still hearing the echo from you?
Let me hear. Let's see. Yeah, I still hear the echo.
Still hear the echo.
Christopher, it's 10xladies.com/network. It's a free Zoom I do every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me put it in here.
Try putting it just on. Yeah. That's so coming through.
Yeah, that reception is really bad. You're even clicking out. I wonder if this is gonna happen.
Elena, are you still getting that echo?
Not from you. No, not from me either. No, it's good. Mm-hmm.
I think that fixed it. Derek is the man.
Yay! No echo. This is awesome.
Perfect. And you sound great coming through now too. Stacy, Carly, are you all able to hear her okay? Just a little bit more.
No more echo. Thank God.
She can hear you now.
Okay. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to have you.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thank you so much.
Hey, Elena.
Hi.
She's in the audience. I'm in the audience. She's our studio audience today.
I can't see y'all.
Here, come say hi. No, she can't see us. Oh, okay. I hope we can hear a little bit better. I'm still having a little brace on a little trouble. Okay.
Carly and Stacy with the
like
North Texas Networkers podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Amelia just started my Build an Empire online university, and it's helping her through these tough times. I love hearing that, Amelia. Awesome.
Like I can't hear.
Elena, I want to get a mic check for you one more time. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
Oh, man. Tea, Earl Grey tea.
Earl Grey tea?
Mm-hmm.
Is that all just Earl Grey tea? Anything else with it?
No, that's it. There's no breakfast. Okay. There was no breakfast this morning.
Okay.
I have to earn breakfast time. I didn't get enough accomplished on my book to earn breakfast.
I hear you.
No, truthfully, I'm not a big breakfast person. I do breakfast when I work out, but when I'm not working out, then I usually don't eat breakfast.
I am the same way.
I really hope the mic's better because I'm not hearing all of the trouble now. Travis, we're really having a hard time not being able to hear everything she says.
Okay.
But I like Earl Grey too, Elena.
I do too. Somebody on my live likes chai tea with coconut milk. That's my other drink. I drink chai tea, 1 pump with coconut milk.
Hey, Elena, you're going to hear us play it back, so just give us just a second. It's going to kind of sound weird, but I just want to get a gauge for how your audio is coming through the recording.
Okay. Thank you guys for bearing with us through these technical issues while we figure out how to do this virtual online recording session. They're actually in a very professional looking studio. So bear with us. I hate technical issues. I'm not a computer person, but I guess that's the times we're facing. I love the hearts. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Hello from Houston. I love Houston. We own some real estate by the Galleria area. Love Houston. We own a lot actually in Houston and some in Austin. We'll be back to business soon. Yes, I cannot wait. Yes, and I was on, I was on Joseph's podcast last week. That was a great interview. Jay, I'm good. How are you? I'm busy. You know, I was hitting kind of like a little slump, kind of like a little funk, and I just kind of reinvigorated myself. Last night I did my very first coaching call with all my university Empire elites who signed up for my university and who signed up for my mentorship program. I gave a 5-week coaching call. Last night was my first one where we had to write out everything in our empire, gave a lot of other exercises. I did them myself that helped clarify a few things. Now that I'm kind of venturing doing this empire thing, it was really good for me to do my own exercises. And so today I've woken up reinvigorated with some really great ideas and strategies of what I want to do, where I want to go. Now I'm involving all the people that I want as allies to help me with my next endeavor that's going to be huge. And so now I'm not in my, my kind of funk anymore. I kind of pulled myself out of that by coming up with a plan for the future. Thank you. Oh, I love you and your wife. Thank you. Tell her I said hello. I wish I could invite one of you in right now. I guess they're testing.
Elena, can you hear me okay?
Oh, no, they're still.
Can you hear me okay, Elena?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So
okay.
What's gonna happen? You're gonna probably I'm gonna mute your audio, and then once they start talking, I'll enable it. So you'll be able to hear and see everything at that point, and then we'll get you, they'll introduce you basically into the show.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
All right, not a problem.
Okay. So I'm about to go live on my podcast.
All right, so she is muted now, guys.
I'm muted now, so once I go into this, I won't be able to read your questions or write you until after the podcast is over, but then I'll take in some requests and we can have a chat. I've been mic'd, but I don't want them to unmic me while I'm talking to you.
Hello, it's Carly Gurney and Stacy Reevely with North Texas Networkers, a show about networking across DFW. However, today we're going to LA because we want to interview Elena Cardone. So we have her here with us this morning. She's an actress, a model, a professional shooter. You're going to have to tell us more about that. And she is part of building an empire and also has her own show. So we are so glad to have you here, Elena. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Just one little correction. I'm coming to you from Miami. I got out of LA.
Miami. Nice. Well, I was on. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I lived in LA for over 20 years, so I'm an LA girl too.
Nice. Well, you know what? Wherever you're from, we are so glad to have you because we are excited about what you're bringing to us today. Encouraging, motivating, and the thing I want to know is tell me about this professional shooting. I'd like to know about that.
Well, I'm not a professional shooter, but I am a competition shooter. So I do what's called three gun, where you compete basically with pistol, rifle, and tactical shotgun. So each stage will be a variation of whatever weapon you're supposed to use, and you hit various targets at certain times. So it's a sport that I love, that I'm passionate about, but I'm not professional. I don't, this isn't what I do for my living. It's just a passion of mine that I love. And so anytime I have the opportunity to compete, I compete.
Well, I have to say, you're functional to me.
Well, thank you. I will tell you that I am very good in terms of the regular sort of civilian, but in the competition world, when I'm competing against my big league guy and girlfriends, they just make me look like I'm a little turtle out there. I'm so slow.
I doubt Elena is ever considered a little turtle.
So Elena, tell us a little bit about your family and how you met Grant and just kind of that part of your life.
Well, I met Grant in Los Angeles. I was on a commercial shoot. He was friends with the director. He showed up to the shoot. I didn't think anything of him. Grant was not my type at all. I had only dated rock star-y type guys and actors. I was in that world being an actress myself. And so he seemed like a business type guy, not my type. And so he got my number from the director, and that was a big turn off for me. I was like, who does that? Who gives somebody else's number out? But he called me. I had a phone conversation with him. It did not go well for him. And from that first phone call, I did not respond to his next phone call for 13 months. But in between that time, he called me twice a month, every month for 13 months with zero return phone calls. So that's how I met Grant.
So what made you finally accept his call?
Well, because at that time, I was a competitor sporting clay competition shooter. I was ranked 10th in California in the female division. And so that's different. Anyway, we don't have to get into that. He found that out from a good friend of mine. And he finally left a message on my machine saying, hey, I rented the shooting range for the whole day if you want to come with me. And so I was like, okay, fine. I am very predictable. I am like a bee to honey. And so he found my Achilles heel or my kryptonite, my weakness. And, so that's how he got me to return his phone call. And then when I went on the shooting range with him, I was like, well, he's not as bad as I originally thought. He's okay, but he still wasn't my type. But then after a while, and he finagled his way into my group, I finally just fell in love with him, which was really weird because I had never fallen in love like that before. It was always like a love at first sight kind of a thing for me. So, the friendship really was established first, and I fell in love with him. And of course, what we have today is a really beautiful relationship that we have 2 children. Now we just adopted 2 kittens 2 days ago. So we've added to our family, and, we really support each other in our endeavors. And, we're not perfect, but we figured a lot of things out. We figured out how to help each other reach our heightened levels of success together, operating as a coordinated group, meaning he and I, 2 or more as a group, us operating together, on the same page, knowing who does what in the relationship has really helped catapult us to another level.
It's interesting because I was listening to some of your podcasts and listening to you talk about marriage, being married to Grant, and how you've had to make yourself accessible and be an asset to him. And I think that's awesome. But let's go back a little bit before that. I mean, you came from New Orleans. Can you tell us a little bit about that, who you were before you met Grant?
Well, in New Orleans, I was a wild chick. I was wild. I mean, my teen years were crazy. And unless you you've been to New Orleans or you grew up there, I don't think people really understand what occurs there. It's really not like any other city in America. It's just wild. The wildest things happen. You won't imagine it until you've experienced it. So that was my teenage life. But when I left at 17, I moved to Los Angeles. I knew no one, but I was willing to make that move to kind of get out of New Orleans and try to make something of my life rather than succumb to that side of my life. So at 17, I moved to Los Angeles, and New Orleans. I was raised to be a very independent woman, never to depend on anyone, much less a man. So I grappled with that and being that independent woman for a long time. And when I finally married Grant and was even in a relationship with him, for the first 4 years, I had a real big power struggle about this male-female role situation. And then when the economic collapse occurred in 2008 was actually the thing that kind of catapulted me into having to really look at the cold, hard facts of things. And that was the turning point for me where I was willing to trade in my acting career, or lack of at that point, because I found myself pregnant with our first child in 2008. So the roles were slim to none for me then. But it was at that point where I decided, I was willing to trade up in order to trade up for what we have now with our empire. So, and ironically, going through that whole experience has made me more powerful as a woman, having to be side by side by a man. And depend on him. He just walked in. Thank you. And having to depend on him and vice versa. That's one of the things that I realized, like, women are suffering through this thing, or not all of them, but certainly the ones similar to me, we're suffering from, we have to be the strong, independent woman, but I was cutting my nose off and spite my face, because in having to like do everything myself and never depend on anyone, like I couldn't expand, I couldn't grow, I was overexhausted, I wasn't winning, I wasn't getting as far. But when I finally figured out how to work together with my husband in a coordinated effort, I realized, wow, we can share the workload. I can bring 100%, he can bring 100%, and we can operate at full levels. And I've discovered that 2 is stronger than 1 on any day of the week. And so now I'm sort of on this mission to be transparent and to help all the other people that are in a similar situation as I was, because I want to help them fast track their way to heightened success.
What a great realization. I mean, there's so many couples that do work together, and when you figure that part out of it, about you don't have to necessarily be competing with each other, but you can complement each other. I think
right. Exactly. I mean, we do compete at every single thing, but at least we know we're on the same team. We know what our goals, what our purposes are. His wins are my wins are his wins. And so, we've really fortified as a couple, and that's really what's helped unite us and make us stronger to conquer the world, basically.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But, it's like, like I just wanted to clarify, like he like, I don't say Grant made me who I am, or made me more powerful, or made me more independent, ironically. But it was, however, through the challenges that I was put through being married to him and having to figure out solutions and rise to my own potential to get through a scenario that has helped me figure out who I am as a woman. So ironically, I found my true strength and power as a woman through a man, is what I'm trying to say. Not that he gave me anything.
Right. Well, I loved it when you talked about the prenup story. You should share that, because that's a good one.
Well, Grant hates that story and couldn't believe I put it in the book. So, and he just walked in, so now he's in the next room over. So I'm like terrified to even mention it. But yeah, I'm going to whisper. yeah, he wanted a prenup, and I don't blame him. I really don't. But at the time, I was like, you know what? I was never a girl that ever envisioned herself being married with kids. I mean, there's a reason for that. I didn't want to give my heart to anyone. I didn't want to be vulnerable and be hurt, which is really where that came from. But I was never this person that wanted to be in love. I was always independent. How dare you? I worked for everything. Every single guy I had been with before Grant that I tried or attempted to be in a long-standing relationship with, I funded everything. I was the breadwinner. So how dare he like insult me like that? And I just was like, you know what? I'm not going to marry you with a prenup. Like if you're going into this thing with an out, then you're not the one. Like, that's not how I want to start our deal. Like, if you don't know that I'm going to be in this because I said yes to you, because I'm finally going to commit, then you're not really the right one for me either, because this wasn't really like the thing that I dreamed of. You asked me to marry you, and now you're going to ask me for a prenup? I don't think so.
I love that. Yeah. So you've said before that, it takes giving greatness to get greatness.
Yes.
Can you expand upon that a little bit more and what that means?
Yeah, that came out of that's a long story. That came out of a list that I wrote. Okay, so in order to find, like, before I was interested in ever being married or ever being in a long-term relationship for that matter, I finally had written this list one night. I was doing some girl event. You know how girls are. We write all of our list, and this is the guy, and it's going to attract you, and all that normal stuff that I'm like, roll my eyes at normally. But I did this night, and it actually changed my life forever. So I really owe a big thanks to those women that had that eye-rolling experience for me. But I wrote this list of every single thing that I wanted on the list from a man. It was over 100 items on the list. And I had a couple of epiphanies after that list. I realized, that if that person on that list truly did exist, then I could be with one person for the rest of my life. So that was a big eye opener. And the second thing I realized was that I'm just not entitled to that person just because I think I'm so great. Whereas I felt at the time that there was a lot of people, at least at my event that night, that wrote all these amazing things of what they wanted from a guy and just thought, well, because I'm a woman and I'm spectacular and I'm great, I just deserve all of that. That's not what occurred for me. What I realized was, I realized that perfect man that I had written down, what would his list of his perfect woman look like? And so I wrote another list of what that woman would look like. And it didn't look like anything that I was at that time. First of all, I went, if that man wrote a list, that man would want a woman who would want to be married, who would probably want to have kids, who wouldn't be doing recreational drug use, who wouldn't be excessively drinking alcohol and partying in nightclubs, all of which I was doing at the time. So I realized, hey, if I wanted the greatness, it was never going to show up in my life without me being the thing first. So that's when I kind of went on this plan just for fun, this experiment. And that's when I kind of eliminated drugs and alcohol. And I started doing all these self-enhancement courses and doing things that I could fill myself with to give myself more confidence, like real confidence, not just like pretend confidence. And so I started making myself better. So that's where I come up with the concept that if you want greatness, you have to be greatness, because it's just, you can't expect something out of somebody that you aren't willing to invest and do for yourself first. And that goes with anything. I wouldn't ask an employee to do anything I wasn't willing to do. If I want romance in my relationship, that's more kind of my role. That's not Grant's role. So if I want the romance, I have to create the romance. I depend on Grant for other aspects of our relationship, but that's not his strong suit. I know that's his weakness. And so where his weakness is, I have to counter and help and keep that in to help him and to help us still maintain. So I can't just put it all on him. Like, I understand certain things that I'm going to have to be willing to create if I want it.
Yeah, that concept is so eye-opening, and it was to me when I listened to it earlier, and it's amazing, and you've really come a long way. And I know in life we all experience different. You think when you thought it was maybe your most difficult struggle and how you overcame it?
Wait, what did you ask me? What was my most difficult struggle?
What's been your most difficult? I know we've all had several, but what's been your most difficult struggle that you've had to deal with, and how did you overcome it? A lot of the show is about how we encourage other people, and we think so much of what you have to say and share. We'd love to hear that from you.
Well, my most difficult struggle, and I wrote this in my book, which I never liked to talk about before, you know, I wrote it out. I hate talking about feelings and all that stuff. I just deal with feelings and I move on anyway. But the most difficult thing that I went through was at the age of 14, when I witnessed my best friend perish in a fire right across the street. And at 14, having to visually confront the trauma of seeing something so brutal was something that I was not equipped with at 14 years old, and knowing how to deal with that trauma. And even though I came from a very loving household, my parents were not alcoholics, I was not beaten, I was really loved and cared for, but my parents, my father, especially being fought in World War II, is, you know, we didn't really kind of express our emotions well. And I had come off of a period where I was a tomboy from, you know, I was just starting to find my girlhood at 14, but I was always, you know, being a tomboy, it was always never cry. Like, the neighborhood boys would cry before I would. So I was very good at being able to swallow my emotions and put up a very tough front. But that was so challenging for me, because the very next day I was expected to go to school, and I did go to school, and, you know, having to suppress all of the pain and the tears and the sobbing that was going on inside of my body that I had to suppress down at that time through that whole period of my life was extremely agonizing for me. And I didn't know how to deal with that. So I went down a very dark road. I self-medicated. I took lots of street drugs and excessively drank alcohol, and really delved into that kind of New Orleans lifestyle that I was talking about earlier. And then when I was 17, after I had lost multiple friends after that, because of that lifestyle and what that brings, including overdosing and suicide and car accident and whatever, I realized I had a decision to make. I could continue down that road, or I could kind of try to make something of myself. And it was one night that I had an epiphany, a realization that my friend Goldie, if she were alive or looking down on me, that she would be extremely upset, and that I was using her life as a reason to wreck mine and be so miserable. Because what does any loved one want the most for you? They want you to be happy. That's all they want for you. So for me, being in so much pain and anguish and causing so much destruction to myself and to others around me by the lifestyle I was participating in, was really doing a disservice to her legacy, her name, her, you know, everything. So that's when at 17, I decided to move to Los Angeles and try to work out my issues and decide to turn my life around. And I didn't get perfect at 17. It would have been a number of years later. Like, I did my last and final drug, December 31st, 1999. So I haven't taken like a real drug. I even delivered 2 children naturally in my home with no epidural or anything, since 1999. You know, other than, I don't know, Novocaine or something like that. So it worked. I was able to turn my life around, and you know, another huge challenge for me was confronting life sober. I remember when I stopped doing drugs, I had partaken in drugs since my 13th birthday, but I didn't get heavy, like I didn't go heavy into that road until after my friend's death, which was when I was 14. But from that age into 99, I don't know how old I was back then. Y'all can do the math. I'm 46. But the next hardest challenge for me was knowing how to operate in social circumstances without drinking or doing a drug. It was very challenging, and you know, it was introverting for me. But once I figured out how to go to a party and just walk up to someone and say, hey, my name is Elena, then it kind of took over. And the more I realized I could really express myself and found my courage in situations of reading a book or doing an acting job sober or whatever. You're not sober like alcohol. Anyway, I was never an addict, but I, thank God. But that was another big challenge that I overcame and became more powerful as a result of really discovering who I am without having a dependency on some other thing to give me a false illusion that I'm better or more confident or creative or whatever thing I told myself.
So what was the tipping point from you started building an empire and you know, when did you kind of start realizing, you know, I'm becoming a success. I'm overcome my, you know, past and the issues that I've had. And, you know, now that I've arrived, what did that feel like? And what was that tipping point in that process like?
I couldn't tell you. No, I joke and I laugh because Grant and I say to each other on a regular basis, when are we going to make it? When are we going to make it? Because every time we set a target and we achieve it, we've already set future targets and goals. So it's kind of like a dangling carrot. We never quite get it. Although I do recommend celebrating the wins along the way. That is really important. Grant and I probably do flunk the most at that, because every time we achieve something, we're already so far ahead into the next thing, which is good because it pulls us into the future. But it's kind of like we invalidate it a hair. Yes?
Elena, hold on really quickly for me. I'm going to switch over the recording to another disk drive of ours. The one that we have right now is full, so give me just a second to switch over, you guys.
Okay, you got it. You see, we're jabberjaws over here.
So this is the first time, Elena, that we've been in the studio.
The studio looks great.
Isn't it pretty? I love it.
It's really nice. The lighting's great. It's real. Is that really the background, or there's cars?
Yeah, that's Dallas.
Oh, nice. That's great. I'm doing a live, and now I'm saying hello to them as well. You guys, awesome. You guys digging the podcast? Aren't those girls great? Carly and Stacy.
We can pick up from the very next question. It got that question.
Okay.
Pick up from it.
All right. So if you, Elena, could pick your very best advice for women out there, what one thing would you say?
For women, I would say become your own best friend and really learn how to be a friend. How you treat your friends is how you should treat yourself. Meaning we don't invalidate each other. Other women don't, at least my friends don't. We hold each other accountable. We forgive each other. We pep talk them. And I would say, learn to become your own best friend and hold yourself accountable, but forgive yourself and don't beat yourself up. If you need to learn a lesson from a situation, then adopt a policy that you can live by going forward to help prevent that situation from happening to you again. But continually look at who you want to be in the future and live today planning on becoming that woman. And for all the women out there that are willing to take on the responsibility of the power that you possess, and you're willing to live up to your potential and make a difference for the better, not just for yourselves, but for your families and your communities and for the world, then I applaud you. I admire you. I appreciate you. And I know your worth and your value to the world. So please, if you do think you can create an empire and build an empire, I plea of you to do so. The world needs more powerful women.
Awesome. Very good. Tell us about your 10X events.
I did my first 10X Ladies event right at the back end of 10X Growthcon this year. So that was in February. It is an event that I hold that has multiple powerful women speaking. It's a way that women can come together and hear and learn from other powerful women and how to apply certain datums to their lives to get the best results. So this last event I did was extremely successful. It also helps me to introduce the women audience into everything Cardone wise. My husband and I, but he does the business division of that aspect of things. 15 businesses, Cardone Ventures, Cardone Capital, Cardone Enterprises, Cardone University. So my 10X Ladies events are ways to introduce ladies into not only just my content, but my husband's content, where they may not have found him on their own because maybe he's too abrasive for them, just like he was for me in the beginning. But I want all the women out there to have access to his data because I am his biggest fan. I've seen the rewards and the successes that have come from all over the world from people who implement his teaching. So that's one of the reasons why I do the 10X Ladies events. And if anyone wants to join, I do a free 10X Ladies event every Wednesday, which will be tomorrow, 10xladies.com/network. It's my free Zoom call for 10X ladies around the world so we can navigate these times together and become more powerful, stronger, more unstoppable on the other side. So if you want to join the 10X Ladies Network, I'd love to have you.
I love that. That's great. We know Stacy and I are both realtors. So we want to ask you, what do you think the biggest thing you can do as a realtor to change your business and to grow it, to make it big?
Gosh, I'm the wrong one. Y'all would know that answer better than me. I don't know the answer to that. I don't do probably what y'all do. I'm more knowledgeable on multifamily, only because I've been around that, and that's what we do with Cardone Capital. We have 80,000 units, so I'm not very versed or familiar with single family or shopping center or storage. So I leave that to you guys. But I know for anything, you have to brand yourself and you do have to get known. And social mediums and your podcast, what you're doing, are a way for people to get to know you. And as Grant says, you know, it's the best known product that wins, not the best product. Meaning, if you have the beauty elixir of life and it's not in the shelves, it's not on the shelves, chances are when I walk into Target or Walmart or Publix, my grocery store, I'm going to buy the Coca-Cola instead of the beautiful Stay Young elixir because it's the best known product. So whatever you have to do. That's a
great analogy. I love that.
You know, to make yourself known, that's from my husband. I learned that from him. So these podcasts that you're doing, getting yourself known, you stay on the forefront of people's minds. And there's the reason people don't do business with you is because you're an obscurity to them. So they either knew you and forgot you, or they never knew you. So both are your jobs to continue to be in front of people, because people have your money. People have the other end of the product that you want to exchange. So you have to include people in your ideas and your concepts and your imagination of how you can reach them.
You've got so much going on between business and family, and what keeps you motivated and energized to keep that pace?
You know, I'm really connected to my purpose. I have a couple of purposes. Of course, I want financial literacy for the world. I want people to be able to take care of their own families and not depend on an economy or a government to be able to feed their and provide for their families. I believe my husband has solutions for that. So that keeps me motivated because I want to help people. I do my Empire and my 10X Ladies and my ladies events because I really want to see women be valued for their role in society, own their role in society. And I really, truly want to see women empower other women, you know, not in a we hate men type of way, because that's the furthest from the truth. I just want to see women empowering women to really own up to their full potential and be unapologetic about it. So that moves me. That's a passion of mine. So, you know, and for all the little people who were just like me, who came from, you know, backgrounds like mine, like New Orleans, that really never saw big empires in their future or private planes or things of that nature. I want to be a leader that says, you know what, if I did it and can get through it, anyone can. With the right information and the right amount of action taken, you can have it all too. It isn't just for the select few. And that's what I believe. That's why I'm willing to be transparent. We don't have to do this anymore in our lifetime. We don't have to be open for attacks and haters and all the people that want to analyze my every single move. But I do it because what motivates me is if I can help fast track a little me, just like me was or is, then that's my motivation. I'm obligated to help and to make a difference for the better. And there are people out there that I have truly impacted the trajectory of their life, and that's my reward. So that's what keeps me motivated every day. I'm very linked into that cause, that mission. And I'm crazy enough and have the audacity enough to believe that I can do it on bigger levels. So, you know, until then, I'm going for it with everything that I've got.
So what's next? What have you not done that you want to accomplish?
Well, what's next is I want to do an annual Women's International Congress, which would be a stadium size a platform of women from around the world when we can meet again in groups, but like a 2-day kind of conference where we can meet and actually own our position as women and leave with a battle plan, leave with marching orders of what we need to do to go back into our lives, to become better versions of ourselves, to become better within the family unit and operate at a higher level, and then out from there into the communities, into the business, into life-changing events. So that's what I really want to put together in the future on my aspect or end of things, as well as everything else, growing Cardone Capital and all my other interests. But the Women's International Congress is something that hasn't come into fruition. It's just an idea right now. But if I did that, I would really give myself a pat on the back and say, well done, continue.
Very good. Very good. So is there any question that we haven't asked you that you wish we would have?
The question that people ask me lately, when they say, is there a question I haven't asked? It wasn't asked to me up until recently, but I would say, what is the one thing that you could change if you could change anything, if you could change it right now? And the answer to that is, I would change the way women view themselves and the way even men view women, and to you know, never just put a just in front of anything that we do. Eliminate just a mother or just a housewife, or just so-and-so at whatever your position is at your job. You know, the just thing that invalidates women that we're doing to ourselves and maybe others as well. Doesn't matter where it came from. It's just, that's the one thing that I would change right now is, you know, where women could really have self-confidence, and not in an entitled way or make wrong way, but from an earned position to where they have self-confidence, they are unapologetic, and they're willing to own their responsibility for the power that they possess and be validated and appreciated and acknowledged for the role that they play in society, because it's so much more valuable than I feel it has been credited to.
Elena, you've been such an inspiration today. Love listening to you. I love your heart. Thank you so much for being a part of this and joining us today on North Texas Networkers. You're so appreciated.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Glad to have you today.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you both too. And thanks for inviting me on your show and introducing me to your audience. You're helping me in my mission when you do that. So thank you for the collaboration.
Thank you. Well, this is North Texas Networkers. You can see us every third Tuesday.
Okay, how was that? Did you like the podcast? How do you keep building an empire during this crisis? Well, Adam, what I have done is I look at who I want to be on the other side of this, where I want to be. I just told you I want to do my Women's International Congress. I have a men's book that I'm writing right now. It's for men. I love my guys out there. I have another book for women that I want to write after this. I have a whole slew and a whole platform that I'm trying to set up where I can really cater to my empire elites and kind of my fan base of women and men out there. So I have a lot of projects in the works. Writing the book is helping me get through this, and being so focused on what's on the other side of this that I'm not focusing on what appears to be the apparent setback right now, or the apparent shrinkingness. I'm focusing on getting my mind right and expanding and creating as much as I can during this time, and really using the opportunity to become a better parent and mother, and that's making me more strong and powerful in my newly founded business endeavors that I'm taking on. So, I'm just so busy with projects and things that I'm working on that I'm not allowing myself to really wallow in the stress of it all. What I have done is I have already, I'm a visionary. I have already gone down every single possible avenue and every single possible road of every single endeavor that I partake in. And I have come up with my worst case scenario for every single thing. And I have come back and made a plan. What do I need to do? How do I need to be prepared? Who do I need to have in my life? Who do I need to have not in my life? What businesses do I need to have around me? What people, what allies, what protection, what everything. And so, I have made plans and I have prepared for every worst case scenario. So when you plan for every worst case scenario, you are less likely to stress about it in present time, because you already know you're prepared for it. So if it's going to happen, just, okay, let's deal with it. I already went there in my mind. So that's what I've done. And I did that weeks ago. A visionary. Yes, Raquel is in the house. Trust your preparation. Yes, I truly believe that the more prepared you are, the less likely you're going to run into the scenario. That's just my beliefs. I know the zombies haven't shown up yet, but I was prepared. Let's see. You read my book, and it's great to hear from your female perspective. Oh, that's so awesome. Well, I'm writing a book, Nick, for guys and even for the guys that are in relationships, how to get you guys operating on the same page so that you can reach heightened levels of success together faster. So I think you're going to like this book. I've really kind of tailored it to speaking to men. But yeah, it is. Again, it's from a female's perspective of of a woman who is powerful and strong enough to be of comparable magnitude standing next to an extremely powerful man under extremely difficult and challenging pressure situations, and how we get through it. So I really want to help all my guys out there that may be not knowing how to do relationships. I mean, that wasn't my forte. Again, I haven't figured it all out, but I've figured enough out to where I can say we're reaching higher levels of success together. Hold on one second. Do you have a name for the book? The Cardone 10X, I do not have a name for the book. I am really struggling with that. But I am looking at putting up a landing page for a pre-order for the book. I decided that with the pandemic and everything going on, I'm probably not going to put it into actual hard copy or soft copy book form. How I'm going to release it at first will be audio or a PDF. And I will figure out how to get a landing page up this week or next week so I can start pre-selling the book to all my gentlemen that are interested in reaching higher levels of success with a partner. Oh my gosh, Elena's laughing so hard. I think it's Elena, that we got kittens. Yes, I got kittens. Look, I'm the chief family officer in the house. I call my position the CFO. Grant runs the business. He runs all the business decisions based on, not because it's male, female, but based on that my husband is an extreme badass and knows about business, and he knows what he's doing. And he's run multiple businesses before he and I met, and he's never made a mistake, and quite frankly, he knows a lot more about that than I do. Now, I run the family division because that just comes to me. Those are strong suits that I didn't even know I possessed until I found myself in this situation. And so I make all those executive decisions. I knew that if I ran it by Grant, he would say no. We have talked about not having a pet for many years, and both of us decided that we did not want a pet, that we travel too much, etc. So I've been telling our kids no for years. Then Grant went and made a bet with the kids. It said, you can get a cat if you catch these pecans in your mouth. And so they missed the first time, and then he had the audacity to keep doing it, going, now, if you catch it now, well, guess what? One of them caught it in their mouth. So at that point, I made a decision, like, I'm not going to tell these kids you were joking. Like, an 8 and a 10-year-old don't think that's funny. That's not a joke. Just so you know the backstory on all of this. So we decided to get a kitten, and then I decided we actually need 2 because they're going to keep each other comforted, and then each daughter gets to take care of one, and they've waited several years for this, and so I figured it was a decision that I made for the greatest good of the family members. And if Grant had to suffer for a moment in order to wrap his head around this, I was willing to take the hit on that. He did pretty good. There was 2 days where he was, like dealing with it, but in the end, he loves the kittens. He's in love with them. He gets out of bed and runs to see them first thing in the morning. He puts them on top of him. I know he loves and adores those kittens. He's feeding them with the little dropper. So I had to make a decision, and truly, I think I made the best one. It's really brought our family closer. It's been the best thing that's come out of these challenging times, and I just know it's gonna be a very positive decision that I made overall. All right, and yes, their names are Cash and Flow. You see, there's another part of the story. When Grant said, the very first thing he said when I introduced the kittens to him is, rule number 1, they're not coming on the plane with us. So then he liked the names Cash and Flow. And I thought, well, isn't this perfect? Isn't this an opportunity? If we name them Cash and Flow, they can be the Cardone Capital Cash Flow Cats. Now they can be members of our family that are contributing members, Now they can become famous. I figured, you know, I'm brainstorming ideas. So we got them their Instagram accounts, Cardone Capital Cats. You can follow them on Instagram. Want to build that up, want to make them famous, want to have them travel around the world with us. So look, every liability is an opportunity to turn it into an asset. So, you know, rule number one, they won't get on the plane. We'll see about that. I love a good challenge. Woo! That's just between me and you though, okay? All right, well, Grant's home. The kids are out and about. I've taken up way too much of your time. I appreciate you sending me all the hearts, watching the podcast, all the love. Again, if you want to see my 10X Ladies Network call tomorrow night, go register at 10xladies.com/network. It's free, and it's about women being able to navigate these times together as women in order to come out stronger on the other side of this. Be there. I'll see you at my 10X Ladies tomorrow night. 10xladies.com/network. You know, I loves ya. Thank you. I'm putting it in my comments right now. 10xladies.com/network. Sign up, support me, help me, become a member of powerful women that we can count on to be there for each other, to have each other's back. Okay? I love you all. Peace out. Thank you.